All right, so this is without question my favorite story of the day. Honestly, probably my favorite story of the year. And maybe even longer than that. I'll just say it. Maybe even longer than that. This is just glorious. So Trump got into it with the media yet again because when he originally spoke about Hurricane Dorian, which, by the way, absolutely leveled the Bahamas in devastating fashion. It's a Category 5. It parked over the Bahamas and just kept pounding the Bahamas. And my heart goes out to everybody there because really, it's like 50% of the Bahamas is destroyed right now. Insanity. So crazy. Now, the original forecast was that it goes through the Bahamas and then hits Florida right dead center. Ended up a little bit different than that. Kind of took a little bit of a northward turn before it hit Florida, and now it's hitting South Carolina as I speak to you right now, depending on when you're watching this video. But Trump originally said about Hurricane Dorian that everybody needs to be careful, everybody needs to be ready because this is a big one. This is a Category 5. I'm not sure I've ever even heard of a Category 5 before. Now let's pause on that point. Trump has said that there's been like 5 Category 5s since he became president, and when every Category 5 happened, he said the same thing. I'm not sure I've ever even heard of a Category 5. I've never even heard of that. No, people don't even know about that. Dude, you said the same thing the past 5 times there was a Category 5. What are you talking about, 4 or 5? Don't quote me on that. It's either 4 or 5, something like that. So he keeps repeating that line. It's just such a Trumpism. It's like, you just can't take him literally. He'll just say shit. Like, that's how he works. I'm just going to say stuff, and then you're not allowed to, like, actually hold it up against the truth because it's just never going to match. So, in the context of talking about Hurricane Dorian hitting the U.S., he says Florida needs to look out, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama needs to look out. And what happened was the media, in response to that, pointed out, because they should, hey man, Dorian is not going to hit Alabama. It's not hitting Alabama. Just let's be clear here. Florida is threatened. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, sure. Definitely in the potential path. This is what the forecasts are showing. But just, hey, just quick fact check, not Alabama. Now, a normal human being, having that, laid out for him, what would a normal human being do? Say, oh, okay, my bad. I misspoke. Not Alabama. That's a normal person. Not Trump. Trump goes on a jihad, acting like, no, it's supposed to hit Alabama. I told you it's supposed to hit Alabama. That's what the original forecast was showing. It's going to hit Alabama. And so, it's not the fake news. Fake news is doing fake news yet again. Fake news. Wrong. He won't let it go. His Twitter feed is nonstop trying to, double down on that claim. That, no, it's going to hit Alabama. I think it's going to hit Alabama. He keeps going. And everybody's like, bro, it's not that serious, dog. I mean, I guess a handful of people were like, oh my God, I can't believe he said it was going to hit Alabama when it's not going to hit Alabama because this is important. This is like a state of emergency thing. People are going to act in reaction to what he said. No, not really. If he just misspoke and he did, or he thought it was going to hit Alabama, but it's not. Either way, he was wrong, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Okay, you got it wrong. It happens from time to time. You got to state wrong in terms of what you thought was going to hit. I don't think it's a big deal at all. But he made it a big deal because he couldn't just say, okay, my bad, not Alabama. Couldn't do it. Just didn't have it in him because he's king petty. He's so goddamn petty and he's so shameless. So, this is a long-winded way of saying Donald Trump, in the Oval Office, talking about Hurricane Dorian, giving everybody an update, he whips out a map to show them, oh, this is the path of the hurricane right here. And I'm going to show you that video, and then I'll tell you what's really interesting about that map he's holding up.
We thought we'd give you a update on the hurricane. We got lucky in Florida, very, very lucky indeed. We had actually, our original chart was that it was going to be hitting Florida directly. Maybe I could just see that, Kevin. It was going to be hitting directly, and that would have affected a lot of other states. But that was the original chart, and you see it was going to hit not only Florida but Georgia. It could have was going toward the Gulf. That was what was originally projected, and it took a right turn. And ultimately, hopefully, we're going to be lucky. It depends on what happens with South Carolina and North Carolina.
I don't know how well you could see it there, and I don't know how well you could see it here on screen, but you see the white line showing the path of the hurricane, and then you see that there's like a little black line above it. Donald Trump whipped out a Sharpie and expanded the path line of the hurricane to include Alabama because he was so butthurt by the media correcting him. And he couldn't just be like, you know what, you're right, you got it. No big deal. He couldn't do that. So he took the map and he expanded the line. And it's obvious he expanded the line. That's not how these forecast maps look. There is no black line on the map. It's obvious you added it with a Sharpie. Bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? Who does that? Who does that? I know people with giant egos who don't like to admit fault, who in a circumstance like this, of course they'd be willing to be like, oh, you know what? My bad. I said Alabama. I didn't mean Alabama. Sorry. He couldn't do it. He didn't have it in him. He didn't have it in him. And so, look at all the struggle and the work he went through to continue to double down on this when he's obviously wrong. Dude, if you look at his Twitter feed from the past few days, it's like nonstop. He's tweeting all these different maps trying to prove that it was going to hit Alabama. It was going to hit Alabama. There's like one that's like the water irrigation map in Florida, and he got all these weird lines, and a couple of them, one of them or two of them goes through Alabama, and he's like, see? Path of the hurricane. See? What a child. He's such a child. This is the equivalent of like, you know, the lying kid of like, I didn't eat the chocolate cookies. I didn't eat them. You see like the chocolate all over his mouth, and there's cookies missing. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't eat them. That's not, it's just not, that didn't happen. I didn't do that. I don't even know why you're still bringing this up. There's no way. If I ate them, why are there still cookies in there? You see, there's cookies in there. There's cookies in there. You see them? That means I didn't eat them. There's cookies right there. Oh my God. Okay, I laughed so hard when I first saw this. My initial reaction was like, no, come on, dog. He didn't do that. Read more into it. Yeah, he did it. He absolutely did it. And then you see on Twitter, there's the before and after map. Like, this is what a hurricane forecast map looks like. This is what the one Trump did. He drew with a Sharpie an extension into Alabama to try to pretend like it's totally gonna hit Alabama. See, my map proves it that I totally didn't draw on with a Sharpie. Unbelievable. Tremendous. Oh my God. He's such a baby. I laughed so hard. I laughed so goddamn hard. Who does that? Why? Dude, let it go, bro. Let it go. He doesn't have it in him. It's just not there, man. It's just not there. Listen, you guys know me. If you've watched this show for more than like a month and a half, you know me. And I don't care about non-policy arguments, but goddamn is this a strong character argument. Like, this dude is legitimately unfit to be president. This is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. You drew with a Sharpie on a hurricane forecast map to try to act like you weren't wrong when you were. Good googly moogly, son. Good googly moogly. So unfit. He is so in over his head. This is like, Trump's whole presidency is like a long-ass episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's like, he's just so in over his head, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he just can't act normal, and he's just, God. Oh, this is glorious. I have to say, just so everybody knows, I feel bad. I feel bad because he is genuinely funny. Without even trying, he's one of the funniest people on the planet. It is adorable. He is so funny. But I hate that because he's also like a monster and his policies are disastrous and they're destroying the country and hurting people. and destroying the world because, of course, whether it's climate related or whether it's foreign policy related, what he's doing to Venezuela and what he's doing to Iran, so on and so forth. But, like, I feel terrible because I laugh at him. It's hilarious to watch him on a day-to-day basis. But it's so embarrassing also, and he's really dangerous, so perhaps I shouldn't be laughing, but oh my God. Now, final point I'll make is this. This one I think is just almost ridiculous in the other direction now. People are like, because apparently it violates federal law to draw on one of these forecast maps and doctor it or whatever. Not that serious. I mean, the reason why it's whatever is because everybody knows he's Trump and he's full shit and he's lying, and the media's like, what? Look what you did. Why'd you do that? So it's really not, like, people are like, you violated Penal Code Section U-17-812, and this is a violation of federal law. Let's add this to the impeachment proceedings. Pipe down, son. This reminds me of, like, Trump is the stereotype of the dumb conservative, and then the people who are responding with the, well, this violates federal law, sir. That's like the stereotype of the stick-up-your-ass liberal. Like, take it for what it is, which is fucking hilarious and really, really dumb and shows that he's got the IQ of a gnat. Take it for what it is, but reel it in a little bit. Because when I tweeted about this, people were responding, is it real? I was like, this is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. People respond, oh, is it really that funny? He violated Section 12-1972 of the federal code, blah, 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 blah. Reel it in, dog, reel it in. But, yeah. Well, definitely my favorite story of the day. Could be my favorite story of the year. I mean, come on. We're never going to see this again, bro. We're never going to see a president so dumb and so petty and so shameless ever again. It's almost like his psyche deserves to be in a museum. If it's possible to save a psychological state of mind and portray it, God, it belongs in a museum. How the hell did this guy become the person he became? I mean, he's got to have some deep trauma in his past or something, because this dude is not right in the head.